Good evening. This is Joseph Zwinge, Joseph Hyman Zwinge, your popular and ever, as usual, informative skeptic debunker. I'd like to comment on some apparently unusual findings that were happening recently at the Eagle Pub in New Sarum. You may have heard on the news that there was a local group from a band from Los Angeles who was presenting at this particular bar, and that apparently there were some abnormal effects, and some people have been making reports about things that they've never seen in their lives and the like. I'd like to, as a person who was actually there watching the show, and from the critical eye of from a magician and mentalist, and as a skeptic debunker, I'd like to tell you exactly what happened. As having gone in to watch the show was primarily a show by an anarchistic group trying to be anti the government regarding NSA spying and other things of that sort. What happened was that they proceeded to play some songs or what have you. About halfway through one of their repertoire, all the lights in the particular area went dark. As in the process as well, you also heard people inexplicably panicking. The PA system going off, people dancing without music playing, and then apparently the most interesting bit of this claimed that in a mosh pit, a group of people who were fighting were all of a sudden inexplicably stuck to the floor as if unable to move, and also stuck to each other and unable to move and separate themselves from each other. This, as I should mention, has a purely rational and natural explanation. Also, as well, there may be reports of other weird stuff going on in that bar, but I would like to remind, with regards to the actual effects from the band itself, I would like to comment the following. The first one, the fact is there were some smoke machines and other things going on as well, so it would have been difficult to see anyway for a lot of people. With regards to the inexplicability of people still playing when there was no music playing, that was just simply the excitement of people being hopped up on the drugs at the local time. I did see what appeared to be a number of packets of what I expect were various psychotropic drugs and the like, psychoactive drugs and the like being circulated and people taking them. So as a result, I am expecting that people were quite high and the like. This would explain most of the phenomena that people were seeing. However, there are a couple of interesting, unique perspectives on this. Number one, all the sound system and all the lights suddenly going out. That was again a part of the concert being done there. Again, especially considering that the band on stage basically yelled "fuck the police" afterwards. It was all part of the show to try to, convey their points of protest against the government. There were some concerns as well. You may have also heard reports that lights and people's cell phones stopped working, and that lights for several blocks went out as well. This was actually a very cleverly staged move by the band itself. I have reason to believe, from some background investigation, that they had a tech person on board who was extremely good at being able to hack into the city's power grid and shut down for several blocks around. In the process to this, they actually killed one of the local cell phone towers, thus meaning that people's phones stopped working in the coverage area accordingly. Now, as for the explanation as to why people were fighting and when they were fighting in the mosh pit, felt that they were stuck to the floor and therefore could not move at all. This was actually due to a form of subliminal hypnotic induction known as covert hypnosis. There is a piece of technology that some of us mentalists use, which is a rotating bar magnet. What this does is it actually increases the suggestibility that of the state of a person in question. This can actually be used in combination with lights or what have you to put a group of people into a highly susceptible state. What happens after this is that a very soft, low-level volume hypnotic induction is placed, which basically at a whisper, which basically suggests to the person that they are stuck to the floor or are stuck to other people. A mentalist by the name of Darren Brown, for those of you who are watching my show from England, know full well who this person is, has actually successfully done this using an exhibit at a museum for multiple people. For large groups of people, and has done this for individual people in the middle of the street, spontaneously hitting them out of the blue, quite successfully. I must state that this band did a very good execution of this as part of their act. So But anyway, so just to clarify, again, as you will hear from the main sources on the on MSNBC and elsewhere in the media, again, the issues that went down in this particular club were, again, it was not the again. Most of this was all of this was orchestrated by the band. Again, it was some very good technical work, some very good high-level work. Recent reports also have come out that the U.S. government may have actually been okay with some, or the local city government would have been okay with the aspects of cutting down the entire city's power supply for that. But again, as you will hear, basically all of this was put on by the band. It was, again, to show the idea that, again, to create the impression that they were actually being shut down by the federal authorities or that kind of thing. And for the use of technology and and covert hypnosis and other things like that to convince people that they really were being oppressed or in some sort of weird oppressed state by very powerful figures. I have to say it was a very artistically done piece. They made use of some very exceptional old school mentalist tricks and some new technology to boot. And for that reason, I would give them a very high review for their performance. But again, please bear in mind there was nothing untoward. There was no, there was nothing, weird, magical, or there was nothing, weird about this. I mean, I actually saw a couple of comments on my blog where people who had left and watched it from outside said they had seen some stuff that was just purely supernatural. I told them that because of the fact they were heavily drunk at the time, that they were more than likely hallucinating a large chunk of what they saw. But again, they were, they saw some stuff that was, old mentalist tricks, and because of the heightened state of suggestibility they were in due to the alcohol and the drugs they were on, they basically imagined a lot more than was actually even being presented. That being said, I give this band a very good review for how they use these techniques, etc. But again, I wish to dispel for the public, there was nothing untoward going on. It was all part of the show. Thanks a bunch and for watching. And as yours, this is Joseph Zwinge signing off. Okay, Michael, can you cut that off now? Okay, good. Oh, and by the way, yep. Okay, good. And all right. See you guys.